So that's how we're getting Cody and Randy Orton. For how many months have we been talking about when we get Cody and Randy, we are just hoping that it is one of the most electric stories on the planet that we've seen in a long time. Because you don't just have history there. There's so much that you could do with both of these dudes right now. A good 3 to 5 month feud if you do this correctly. Cody and Randy Orton, man. Randy Orton as a diabolical legend killer type heel. Tap into that. Cody as your babyface. And we're just getting a random tournament match that was just made last night, and the matchup is just in a few days. Randy, Cody, babyface versus babyface to see who wins the tournament. Can't make it up. And the only reason you got to that match was another babyface versus babyface matchup last night in the main event of Raw. You can't make it up. How did the show end? What did you wait 2.5 hours for? Shaking hands, of course. Mutual respect. That's how most of these shows end. Some mutual respect between a couple of baby faces. We fade to black knowing that Paul Levesque, McMahon, and Lee Fitting produced this junk, this garbage. And then the show goes off there and you wonder what the fuck you just did with the last 2.5 to 3 hours of your existence. That's what you waited 2.5 hours for, to see Jeyson, Yeeterman, and Cody shake hands, hug it out, and point at each other, do the Hunter Hearst Helmsley points. Yeah, you're good. No, you're good. No, you're good. No, you kicked out of 86 Cody cutters. You're Superman. No, I'm just a Yeeterman. Thank you, though, Cody. You won, man. No, you're the winner, man. You're a winner. There's no losers here. That's what Helmsley's trying to do, right? Look at it. You're a winner. No, you're a winner. Good game, good game, good game. You're back in Pee Wee football, where no matter who wins or loses, you gather up in a line and you just, everyone say good game to one another. That's what pro wrestling is under Hunter Hearst Helmsley in 2025. But we'll get to that. This is your official amplified review of Raw 6/23/25. I'm not holding back. I never do anyway, but I'm just in an extra special mood this morning. The coffee's flowing. And I made a good one, a Dunkin' Extra. But we're going to go over the show in itself in totality. Sethington Rollins for 10 minutes saying absolutely a circle of nothingness for 10 minutes is what Sethington Rollins was blabbing about. And I told you guys when he got the briefcase, that's what to expect. You couldn't have just put it on LA Knight to make this fun while he has the briefcase, make it fun for everybody. Catapult LA Knight finally, do something. But no, what they had to do is put it on Sethington so we can do the same thing we've already seen years ago. Seth Rollins holding a briefcase. And I told you guys, with this stupid group that he has now, all you're going to get is Rollins coming out there every week and saying a whole lot of nothing on the microphone. I have the briefcase. I have the power. I can cash in whenever I want. We know, Seth. We know ad nauseum. Told you guys you were going to get this type of boring garbage. Now they're just carrying around a shiny green briefcase with it. With the shitty gimmick. When I say I could not, and I don't care if I'm in the minority with this, I don't care if this is a hot take, this Rollins group is absolute garbage. I don't even know if they have a name yet. Maybe they came up with one. There was so much of nothingness being said that I couldn't even tell you. They kept the same song from the jump, the sing-along. They didn't give him a name. I still don't know if they have one. Maybe they came up with one last night. Sometimes Breaker and Bronson look like bouncers at a Chuck E. Cheese, and other times they look like they're about to brawl at the Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know. This group does absolutely nothing. When they come through down the aisle, get into the ring, I have no feeling, no emotion at all. Whether they're all together, separately, I don't care. And now we have to listen to Seth talk about how he's got a briefcase for 10 minutes every Monday night. And he can cash in the briefcase. We know. Referee Jess last night is helping Jade Cargill win the match over Rok-C. What was that about? Jade hits Jaded. Rok-C... I'm not even going to... We'll go over it. I don't want to give it all up in the cold open teaser, this opening monologue. But what was referee Jess doing? She didn't even try to hide it. And I love referee Jess, one of my favorite referees in the industry right now. Former wrestler, too, by the way. I hope she gets back in the ring, but then we lose her as a referee. I really like her as a ref. But what was she doing? Just audibly tell Jade, no, that's not a pin. Rok-C, you can't push Rok-C's shoulder off the boot to pin her. Unless you're putting referee Jess in a storyline. We'll go over it. Goldberg, backstage. Backstage Goldberg sit-down interview with Michael Cole. Play it safe, right? Did you hear what Michael Cole said after that interview? When he asked Goldberg if this is absolutely his last match, and Goldberg's supposed response, and then Michael Cole asked one more question, and Goldberg completely contradicts it all. Or at least WWE is making zero sense, but that's usually per usual. If you didn't hear this, you're not going to believe what Michael Cole said afterwards. We'll go over it. Dominic Mysterio last minute pulled from the matchup at Night of Champions this Saturday. That was one of only like 4 or 5 matches that they even had announced. Then AJ Styles is just like nonchalantly told that Dominic can't compete, but you'll be first in line when he can. What? And then Adam Pearce made an absolutely dumbfounding matchup. It shouldn't be shocking anymore. But the matchup that he made in its place, that I believe is not even for Night of Champions, it's just for next Monday. Why would you book this matchup? If you didn't watch, if you don't know what we're talking about, grab your coffees, your beverages, sit back, max, relax while BC drops the facts, because we're going to talk about it. Dumbfounding. This whole show from top to bottom, dumbfounding. But forget all the bad booking for a second. Forget the lack of creativity. Forget the lack of storylines. Forget all of that. Just visually. When BC says these shows are now unwatchable, I mean by definition. I'm not just saying some cute little phrase on a show, right? So everyone can get a laugh or be like, BC, I'm with you, man. These shows are just unwatchable. No, I mean they're becoming unwatchable, like visually. There was one camera shot last night, just off the hard cam, where I no lie, this is not an embellishment, nothing. 6 advertisements I saw in one frame. Credit one credit card plastered over the LED boards. Then in the ring at the top, Snickers. In the middle, a giant Slim Jim. At the bottom, I think it was Cricket Wireless. Top right corner, I think it was Hogan's Beer, or left. Prime Energy bottle, a massive Prime Energy bottle in the corner next to commentary. I couldn't even... I forgot what was bottom left and bottom right. Those could have been in frame as well, but I was already consumed with all these other... your brain can't fathom it all quick enough. This is all in one shot in all of these advertisements. It's worse than if you go to like a NASCAR race and you see like a jacket with a bunch of sponsors, or you see a NASCAR driver and he's got a bunch of sponsorship patches. This is worse than that. The credit one, you got the credit card company, which then you can go and buy your Snickers and your Slim Jims, and if you need to wash it down, you got your Prime Energy. And then when you're satisfied and you just want to talk to somebody, go over to Cricket Wireless. And when they piss you off over there, you hang up and you go get some Hogan's Beer. Do something stupid, who knows, have a night out. Next morning, go get your Tide detergent, wash your clothes, and start again. It's unwatchable. This is not what pro wrestling should be, man. I understand if you got to pay some bills. I understand if you're trying to make an extra buck, it's business. I get it. You can't pimp out your business, though. You can't make the viewing experience so bad or tarnish it to the point where it's obvious you're pimping it out. Because in the long run... I can't even say that, because in 2 years, I believe they're selling to Saudi anyway. I really do. I don't think they care. I think TKO, Endeavor, Silver Lake, I think they're just positioning themselves for another sale. So pimp out now, get as much as you can now, and upon sale, get the rest of it. We always say Vince McMahon would never pimp out his ring for an advertisement. Giant Morgan & Morgan, or a giant Tide detergent bottle, or a giant Slim Jim in the middle. And he's done a lot of work. Vince McMahon has had a huge sponsorship and relationship with Slim Jim. But you would never have somebody going through a table and a giant Slim Jim logo is what you're seeing for 10 minutes, as somebody like CM Punk lay motionless, frozen after just one attitude adjustment, as if that wasn't silly enough, but we can get past that. We'll suspend the disbelief. I call it suspending belief. I'll believe that CM Punk is knocked out for 10 minutes, frozen in time, after just one move through a thin piece of table. I'll believe that because it's pro wrestling. But what I can't get past is that we're staring at a Slim Jim logo, a giant Slim Jim logo for 10 minutes. That's what you saw Friday. But that's the deal that TKO made with Slim Jim. We'll have somebody every show go through a table and your logo will be right there. It'll be really cool. So every show you're going to get that. You saw it Friday. You saw it last night, or maybe if you didn't see the show. I know a lot of you guys don't watch. You just tune into BC. And if it's really bad, you say, thanks, BC, for watching for me. And if it's good, you'll go back and watch it on BC's Word. I appreciate you stopping by and making sure that this channel is your number one stop for all pro wrestling, by the way. So if you haven't seen the show and you just listened to BC's review, that's what happened last night again. Another person went through a table. I think it was Rhea Ripley via Rok-C and Raquel. And they put Rhea Ripley through a table just so you could see the Slim Jim logo. That's all it was for, because the segment was absolute trash. But they had to make sure they put somebody through the table because that's in the agreement, man. You got to see the Slim Jim logo. As if the giant Slim Jim logo in the middle of the ring for the entire 2 hours wasn't enough. Product placement. The whole point of product placement is to be an eyesore. So when people go, oh man, people are making a bigger deal than it is, it's just business, just look past it. After a while, you don't even realize it's there. No, don't be shocked when people are not just going to look past it because they can't. Again, the whole point of product placement is to be an eyesore. That's the whole reason these companies pay a lot of money to get in that ring, to get on that LED board, to get on those tables, to be in the corner next to commentary as a giant bottle. That's the whole reason. It's an eyesore. They know you're going to be looking at that. The picture-in-picture commercials? Because they know. Yeah, you'll have the product right there. You have the wrestling going on, but there's no way you can't look over to the right or look over to the left on that other box. You got to get the new flavor of Capri Sun. You got to get that box of Kit Kats. Cocoa Puffs with Lucky Charms in them? The marshmallow? What? It's wild. Got to get that. Product placement is supposed to be an eyesore, but when you put a bunch of eyesores in one camera shot because you can't get away from it, you can go to camera B, you can go to camera C, D, E, F. You can go to all the cameras. You're going to have 6 advertisements at a time, bare minimum, in your frame. Pro Wrestling Today, WWE's product today, is nothing but one giant advertisement with a side dish of pro wrestling. And then what you hear a lot, too, is, oh, but what about boxing and UFC and mixed martial arts? BC, there's a lot of advertisements on those are real fighting shows. That's real fighting. So it's like you were to walk into a bar and some dudes are brawling, right? Per usual. You're watching a good fight at the bar, you're ordering a drink at the same time. That makes sense. And if you ever been to the bars, you got all the advertisements everywhere. That's fine. This isn't real. This is pro wrestling, man. You're going to have situations where you have a guy like CM Punk acting like he's knocked out for 10 minutes by taking one move. Knocked out for 10 minutes motionless, frozen, as we stare at Slim Jim's logo. We're trying to just get past the fact that CM Punk is motionless for 10 minutes. We don't need to stare at Slim Jim, making this even sillier, making this even more goofy. No, there's no comparison with boxing and UFC and how they do it. Pro wrestling, you literally can't do that. It takes you out of it. And just every Monday, it's more and more. They just keep putting more on somehow. It's just filled and cluttered with advertising. And do I even go into, that was a long enough opening monologue, cold open teaser on advertisements. And the show is now literally, visually, even unwatchable. It was already unwatchable with the decisions that the doofus son-in-law was implementing, but now on top of that, what TKO is implementing with all their advertisements, it's literally an unwatchable show. There are many times I think, man, if it wasn't for the amplified unit in doing this, would I be spending my Monday nights doing my notes? Obviously not. I wouldn't be doing notes, obviously, if I didn't have the channel, but would I even be viewing? I mean, there's times where I go, damn, I think my channel members, I think we about to hit 30,000 amplified subs in the near future. I think about those things and I'm like, you know what? That's what we've created. And it's worth seeing it through. It's worth keeping that hope that this show, this company will get better. And so you keep hoping that light at the end of the tunnel, it's there. You just got to get to it. But there are many Monday nights that, yeah, and I'm sure you guys have told me the same, that you're like, what am I doing? Like, this is rough. And it's like the first 10 minutes and you're like, we still have another couple of hours of this. But I wonder, if not for the channel, man, I'm pretty sure you could find anything better to do. You can go outside and play in traffic, hit your head on a brick wall for 2.5 hours. It'd probably be more fun and beneficial than watching 2.5 to 3 hours of this garbage. So do I even talk Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton in the cold open teaser because I already spent 86 minutes on advertising? Well, I'll just tell you this. It is absolutely mind-bogglingly, dumbfoundingly stupid to amplified measures that you would put Cody and Randy, a match that many of us have been waiting for. We were just hoping it was going to be done correctly, and if that's the case, you can spread this out 3 to 5 months. And instead, Helmsley's just chucking it out there as a filler for Saudi Night of Champions. Let's just give them a couple of baby faces, Randy and Cody. The problem is that match should be epic. There's so much story sitting in your lap. You just don't have them face each other on a random Saturday morning / afternoon as filler for Saudi. For months, I've been telling you guys how much creativity you could do with this. I've been giving you ideas. I've been telling you how Randy has a diabolical heel. Cody has the baby face. All you could do with it. I'm just getting creative at the bare minimum. And as it turns out, it was all for nothing. No creative went into it. And they're just chucking it out there. Boom, we need something. We need a filler. It's Randy, it's Cody. Let's just do it. Helmsley sees nothing with these two in terms of a storyline. He sees nothing. And if that's not grounds for concern, if that's not alarming to you, how bad Helmsley is at his job, I don't know what else could get you to the point of realizing that Helmsley is just gutting and ruining and sabotaging this company from within. TKO's doing everything else externally. Helmsley's doing his job to perfection to absolutely destroy the company that he is the head of creative and head of the content and head of the talent. He is absolutely destroying WWE internally with the product that he is producing. And what's hilarious is he wants you to know that it's his garbage. At the end of every show, Paul Levesque McMahon. And then he drags Lee Fitting with him. We'll talk about it. Raw 6/23/25. Wow, I had a lot to say. And I still have a lot to say. I mean, this show from top to bottom is just one dumb decision after another. One mind-boggling decision after another. How? Why would they do this? What in the world was that? I mean, this is what you're thinking for 2.5 hours. And if you didn't see the show, like I said, and you're like, damn, BC, was it that bad? Like, what do you mean? Well, let's talk about it. Raw 6/23/25, your amplified review right now. Sethington Rollins spends 10 minutes saying absolutely nothing. Nothing. I was live last night. Shout out to everybody that caught that live stream on 26 minutes of notice, by the way. But I was live, and I think I missed like the first 3 to 5 minutes. Everybody showing up with their luggage and their coffees and smiling, right? You get that every single start of the show. You got to see everybody showing up to work. Yeah, that's what we want to see every single show. That's what we got, man. Thankfully, I didn't have to see that last night. I was still live. I was going over some super chats. So when I finally tuned in 5 minutes later, Seth is still blabbing. And I'm thinking, I'm listening intently because I'm like, is he saying anything of substance? Because he's still talking. Guys, after 10 minutes, nothing. I got nothing out of what he was saying. It was literally blah, 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 wah, 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 wah. It was everything I told you guys was going to happen if Seth Rollins gets the briefcase. There's going to be no fun booking behind it. It's just going to be Seth coming out every single week, getting on a microphone and reminding everybody that he has a briefcase and he can cash in because he has the power to do such. We know. We got it, man. And the only difference is now he's got some goons behind him. And Paul Heyman, who just looks like it's the last place he wants to be. He looks misplaced. He looks out of place at the highest of levels. It looks like there's no need for him. They don't really have Bronson out there for an in-ring 10-minute promo that Paul Heyman needs to go off on. Braun Breaker just runs around barking like an absolute idiot nonstop. Sethington talks for himself. He doesn't need a mouthpiece. Paul Heyman looks this was such a bad idea. Such a bad idea. Paul Heyman with Brock Lesnar, even Paul Heyman with Roman Reigns, man, it just feels special. This feels like it's hurt the prestige of Paul Heyman. It's like he could be with anybody at this point, right? Put him with Tozawa and Otis. What's the difference? Put him with the tag team Pretty Dudley. Because I'm seeing, Paul Heyman, I would have just left him off until Roman came back or something. Not saying he would be with Roman again, but just keep him off. But don't just use Paul Heyman so insignificantly, so irrelevantly. I know I cannot be the only one that feels that way. I understand when this group got together and we all kind of were like, hey, this could be cool. No, I automatically thought, they can't book them. They couldn't even book them correctly individually. They couldn't even book them correct on their own. You think as a collection they're going to know what to do? This company doesn't do factions correctly anymore. They don't know how to do factions correctly. So no, I'm not going to lie to my audience and bullshit and throw on a facade and tell you guys that this group is so good when in reality, they're just as relevant as an LWO. So Seth speaks for 10 minutes and says absolutely nothing. Sound familiar? Doofus son-in-law every time he opens his freaking mouth and does an interview or a promo or whatever, a podcast. It's an hour and a half of absolutely nothing. Word salad, round and round, but nothing absolutely is produced. It's like if you're at a warehouse and the assembly line is going, right, nonstop, but nothing's on it. Nothing, no boxes are coming off. That's Hunter Hearst Helmsley whenever he speaks. And that's going to be Rollins with the briefcase. The assembly line's moving. There ain't no boxes coming off of it. And then we go backstage, and you're not going to believe this, man. You shouldn't be shocked with this type of booking that we've been getting since Helmsley took over the reins. But check this out. So backstage, Pierce tells Styles that his Night of Champions IC title match is off because, like Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio's also injured. Now, that could be legit. I don't even care at this. Well, all the best to Dominic Mysterio, obviously. Doesn't look severe. He was there at the show last night. He was in backstage segments. So it's nothing severe. If this is legit. So we wish him the best if it is. If it's just storyline, that doesn't even matter at this point. What matters is how they did it. They just out of the blue, Styles is just told, hey, by the way, your match this Saturday at the Premium Live event, one of only 4 or 5 matches that we even have announced. That's it. That's all you had. This was like 1/5 of your show. And Pierce is just nonchalantly like, yeah, the match is off. But in the future, you'll get the shot, AJ. That was it. And AJ just walks off. So what? You didn't want to do this a little bit more creative? Make a big... I mean, this is the IC title. It's one of only 5 matchups. You sure you don't want to do this a little more epically? And boom, he's told. Boom, he's gone. Boom, here comes New Day in to see Adam Pearce. And Adam Pearce just tells New Day, next week on Raw. I don't even think this is for Night of Champions. I fully believe that he said next week on Raw, you guys will have a title match against Judgment Day's Finn Balor and JD McDonald's. New Day versus Balor and McDonald's. Think about that. Heels versus heels. A week in advance, that's what the audience is supposed to be talking about and getting excited about, right? That's why you would pre-announce something. So your audience can digest it, get excited about why would you, where's the faces? Who are the little kids that drag their parents to all these shows and they want to cheer on their baby faces? Who are they? Who? What a dumb match. Balor and McDonald's versus New Day turned heel. Why would you do that to the New Day? They haven't had a match since 1965, I'm pretty sure. They have not had a match. Maybe a slight exaggeration. You need to build them up as legit heels that we want to boo and we can't stand, and they have to do some diabolical shit. You can't just have them face other heels when they finally do wrestle and have a match. This is booking 101, man. This is common sense. Unless you're deliberately sabotaging your own product and sabotaging your talent, you should never and would never book this stupidly. But the doofus son-in-law is reaching doofus levels unbeknownst to mankind. And I'm not talking Mick Foley. So in one 3-minute backstage segment, it just has you ready to just catapult yourself into a brick wall. Because you're like, how much can you take of that? How much? You feel like you're getting dumber as you watch this show. They just call off a title match like nothing. And then another title match is announced that makes 0 sense and is detrimental to the booking of your own talent. That's heels versus heels. That's all it is. Where's the fun? Are we just going to get wrestling action so that we can yell, "This is awesome"? Hold on. Get your coffee. Get your drinks and start downing some because it gets worse. Backstage, Michael Cole has a sit-down interview with Billy Goldberg. Because if you haven't heard, 58-year-old Billy Goldberg is coming back right into another title match. We've seen this so many times. Whether it's a Bray Wyatt, a Roman, a Brock Lesnar, he just gets to have a title match the second he comes back every time. I don't know why we give this dude the fucking world. Okay, he was a big entity back in the late 90s. We get it. I was around when the music hits. Dan, 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 and he starts throwing his kicks and he knocks himself out by headbutting the door. It's fun. And he does his little punches to the air. We get it. Good shtick. Couldn't wrestle for a lick. Injured a lot of people, took out Bret Hart on foot. I don't know what Bret Hart said too. Even before I got kicked, he goes, I knew that was going to be an ish. And sure enough, just knocks him. But whatever. He made a name for himself. That's cool. And WWE wanted to bring him back, and that's cool right here. The music play. Oh, it's Billy Goldberg. Cool. Why does he always have to be in a title match? Now, I understand. You're going to say, well, BC, it's to hide the weaknesses, right? Play to the strengths, which is Goldberg's persona, and hide the weaknesses, which is everything else that's needed to be a wrestler. So you talk bells and whistles. This is the whole store of bells and whistles. He just has to come back and there has to be something, right? A title. But no, man, what are you doing? It's so lame. It was lame with Bray Wyatt. It was lame with Roman. It was lame with Brock Lesnar twice. And we're doing it again. He just comes back at 58 and he just gets a title match. So you talk about literally playing it safe. They didn't want to chance any boos or anything like that. So they kept Goldberg in the back. They just had a sit-down interview. Maybe this was filmed last week even. Who knows? But they knew what they were doing. They're like, all right, we're going to have you come out. And that's it. Backstage interview. And we'll call it a day. And that's what they did. It was like a little 3, maybe 4 minute backstage. And it was nothing of substance, obviously. Goldberg just saying what he did in Atlanta in front of the family. You can't do that. And so now he wants to beat Gunther in Atlanta. There was no, I wish I could tell you like something fun was said. Nothing. But it was what Michael Cole said afterwards. So the sit down is done. They go back to the commentary table now, where Michael Cole was viewing that with Corey Graves. Pat McAfee didn't want to show up again, so Corey Graves gets to work. Corey Graves, man. Pat McAfee decided I'm going to take a few weeks off. Now Corey Graves gets to do what he does. If you were thinking that Corey Graves doesn't have a gripe, come on, man. This guy has done everything the company is asking, and he only gets to work Raw when Pat McAfee decides, I don't want to show up. I'm over the Pat McAfee thing, man. I'm done treating Pat McAfee like he's the second coming. All right, he's funny at times, or at least was. Good dude. I support his little show on ESPN. Whenever I'm in the office studio, I put it on the background so we can get all the advertisements and the viewership. But on commentary, he's checked out. He doesn't actually follow the product. He has admitted that a billion times. If you ever listen to Pat McAfee, like I just said I do, doesn't even follow the product. He has to be briefed hugely when he gets there on Monday nights, and that's why he's just there for his sound bites and whatnot. What a big son of a bitch! I'm yeeting, Michael, I'm yeeting! And all that corny shit. But after a while, it gets old. And you see Corey Graves putting in all the work. Anyway, that's a side rant, but, everything revolves around Pat McAfee's schedule because he's a superstar. And Corey Graves was told, you would get that spot, but you're not famous enough. Well, you know what? I'd rather Corey Graves than Pat McAfee because Corey Graves knows the product and follows it. But anyway, we get done with this Goldberg sit-down interview video, and now we have Michael Cole and Corey Graves. And Michael Cole looks at Corey, and he says, I asked Goldberg, is this 100% absolutely your final match, your retirement match against Gunther in Atlanta, Saturday night's main event? Is that absolutely it? Last match. And Michael Cole says, Goldberg looks at me and he says, yes, absolutely. And then Michael Cole says, but then I asked, what happens if you actually win the title? And Cole says, and Goldberg looked at me and he said, well, that raises an interesting concept, doesn't it? What? That's how and then the camera goes like to the ring or backstage. I don't even know. Are they even thinking about what they are saying? Michael Cole sincerely was like, I asked Goldberg unequivocally, is this it? Your last match? And Goldberg's like, absolutely, this is it. And Cole's like, what if you win the title? And Goldberg said, that raises an interesting concept, doesn't it? In other words, then it wouldn't be my last match. That's what he's telling you. What the What? What are you saying? What are you saying? Yes, it's my... and then it's like the title is an afterthought. This is absolutely... That's why I'm calling it my retirement match. Oh, but wait a second. I just realized... There's a world title on the line, though, Goldberg. What if you win that? Well, now... Well, that just changed things, didn't it? What the... You're the one who said you went for a title. You wanted Gunther the world champion. You wanted the title on the line. You're the one who went to Pierre. So it's a retirement match, but it might not be because I'm going to win the title. So then I would keep wrestling until I lose. It's more of a retirement tour at that point. This is what I mean. There's no defending this type of shit. I tell you guys that a lot of you guys are like, oh man, yeah, I was talking about this with my friend or this, that, and they just don't understand, and we were arguing. I'm like, don't argue there's nothing to argue. You know this is bad, like really bad. It doesn't make sense. It is pathetic. There's nothing to argue. If somebody else doesn't see that, let it be. It's not worth your time. There's no talking sense in anybody that doesn't see how bad this is. Michael Cole was so sincere, man. Goldberg told me, no matter, this is it. Absolutely my last match. And then he's just like, oh, but there's a title on it. What if you win the title? Oh, well, that's an interesting concept. Didn't think of that. What the fuck? There's a title. Let's just move on. There's more. Just move on. Because just like I said with the backstage with Pierce telling New Day they're facing another heel team next week, and Dominic Mysterio just told out of the blue, on a whim, your match is canceled in a few days. And then you go into this weird Goldberg thing with Michael Cole. And I told you, it just gets dumber as the show goes on. I meant every word of that. Because listen to what happened next when Jade and Rok-C locked up in the Queen of the Ring. So Jade defeats Rok-C via Jaded pinfall to advance in the Queen of the Ring final with Asuka this Saturday. Referee Jess, who I love, by the way, one of my favorite refs in the industry. Ref Jess turned face, basically, complete face, and helped Jade defeat Rok-C. Now, this is not part of a storyline. They're not going to leak this into anything. Referee Jess just saw that, you know how when Jaded is performed by Jade, she likes to flip over and pin you the other way. Does that make sense? So think of Jaded. She hits it, and then she rolls over and kind of like has your arms hooked, I guess. So she did that. She rolled over and got right into the pinfall, subsequently right after Jaded. Problem is that Rok-C's arm was kind of over Jade's boot. So instead of Rok-C's shoulder down, boot over the arm, Rok-C's arm was kind of up over the boot. Ref Jess doesn't even think twice, doesn't think about how many cameras are on her, pushes the arm off of the boot so that the shoulder is flat and counts 1, 2, 3. When you say assist, I've seen tag team matches where I haven't even seen an assist that deep. Ref Jess just literally helped Jade pin Rok-C. They don't even, there's so much bullshit that Helmsley is feeding these referees and telling the commentators, like even in a DQ, don't say it's a DQ, which is hilarious because we ended up having a DQ a half an hour later. They brought back the DQ when it suits them. We'll talk about it. But there's so much bullshit that Helmsley has them tapping into that I don't know if they're just not even thinking anymore, or they just feel like they just have to do what they're told and get on with it no matter how it looks. But for instance, like Vince McMahon had a rule, like if a wrestler forgets that they have to kick out or doesn't on time, the referee has to count 3. You have to make this as believable as possible. And if a referee just stops his count with nobody kicked out, that is one of the worst that's one of the worst visuals you could have in pro wrestling. You guys know that. We've seen it several times in the past year alone, and that's because Helmsley took that rule off. The new rule is you stop the count if that's not the proposed finish. If that's not what was supposed to be the finish, the referee has to stop his count no matter if the wrestler kicked out or not. And it makes it look horrible. And I can recount 3 times in the past several months where that's been an issue. But that's one of Helmsley's stupid rules. Referee has to hold it up. So referee Jess just push it. I mean, you guys can check it out yourself, the finish of that match. Referee Jess just pushes pushes Rox. What if Roxanne is using that boot so she doesn't get pinned? That's what a wrestler would try to do. Don't get pinned. Jess just pushes it. Get your shoulder down. Back in the day, referees would audibly yell, no, I can't count, shoulder, and that's believable because the ref is going, I'm not counting because you don't have her shoulders down. And that's believable. A ref would do that. That's usually what referees do. They tell, no, shoulder up. And then the heel or the other person would have to be like, oh, really? My bad. And then cover the shoulder. This is what I mean. I spend a couple of minutes on that because I need you guys to see how the show transpired last night. I'm giving you one thing after the other. This was all in the first hour and a half too. One after the other. Rollins says 10 minutes of nothing. Backstage, Dominic Mysterio is supposedly injured. AJ Styles match called off on a whim with no creative behind it. Then he's told to get out. New Day comes in. They're told they're facing another group of heels next week. Makes no sense. Why? Then you go into a Michael Cole interview with Billy Goldberg, and Billy Goldberg tells Cole, this is absolutely my last match, unless I win the title. What? Then it's not. Then you go into referee Jess pushing the shoulder of Rok-C so that Jade gets a clean pinfall. And I'm not even done. So when people try to go in 140 characters or whatever, this was such a good show. You don't even have to spar with that. You don't even have to get in a debate. There's no argument to be had. Laugh and just move along. Because anybody trying to tell you that this is a good show, you know fact by fact by fact just how bad it was. This isn't just a bad show. This is one of the worst television shows I've ever seen. In 100 lifetimes, I don't think there could be a worse show than Monday Night Raw. Which is funny because a lot of individuals will probably be like, well, SmackDown! SmackDown! So people might say Dynamite on Wednesday nights because that could be desperately improved. I agree. But I think even Dynamite is more appealing than a Monday Night Raw. I truly do. Then we went back. No, first, actually, Gunther was in an in-ring promo fully amplified. I actually have no issue with this at all. This is how you book Gunther. This is how, it's not that hard. You just have him out there, amplified, in a diabolical heel. Helmsley has done everything imaginable, everything underneath the sun to sabotage Gunther. Straight up to losing his title in 8 seconds to his own move at WrestleMania to a tag team mid-card Jeyson Yeeterman. It's just... I don't even, there's no words. So to see Gunther last night just do a promo, no run-ins, no face chasing him off, just fully amplified and rocking out, man. That was, we just need more of that. I mean, there you go. There's if anybody's, is there anything positive, BC, from this show? There you go. Gunther. Just an in-ring promo. Just amplified. Then we go backstage and Karrion Kross continues his taunting of Sammy. You're never going to be champion. I tell you why I don't like this at all. Because this is clearly the storyline. Sammy is going to be told 1 billion times he'll never be champion. It's like Rocky again. It's Jason Yeeterman all over again. Jey Uso. Right? Because that was the whole Jey Uso story. Non-stop leading into Mania. All we heard every single week 100 times is Jey Uso go, man, nobody believes in me. Nobody thinks I'm going to be champion. No, nobody cares. That's the truth. That's the problem. It's not nobody believes it. We totally believe. You have a television show where Helmsley literally says, I'm putting the rocket on you. I'm putting the rocket on you. That's the problem with these shows that fully pull back the curtain. And then you try to do a storyline where nobody believes I'm going to win. There's a Netflix show that has already aired the teasers, the commercials. And Helmsley is literally telling Uso, I'm putting the entire rocket on you. That means championship. For those that don't, that means the whole thing, the whole caboodle is going on you. So you can't have that on your shows as a commercial. and then do a storyline where, man, nobody believes I'm going to win the title, man. I'm never going to win it. And then you start doubting yourself, am I going to win it? That was the storyline for Jey Uso. And then at the very end, at WrestleMania, the last scene of the movie, boom, he conquers it all and he wins the title. It's Rocky Balboa. And now they're doing it with Sami Zayn. Oh, you're never going to win it. I told you, Sami, 100 times, you're never going to win the title. Karrion Kross every single show. So what's the end goal? Samuel Zayn's going to win the world title and we're going to do this whole Yeeterman bullshit again? Is this all for Sami Zayn, the 9-to-5 Home Depot employee, right? That's his day job, and then he gets out, he punches out, he makes it to the arena to have a wrestling match. Sami Zayn draws no freaking emotion. We all like him, I get it. And if he wins titles, we're all going to go, he deserves it. Pro wrestling can't be that way. We just did that with Uso. He won the Royal Rumble and you put a fucking title on this guy because he deserves it and because he's a good guy and you're happy for him? We're just handing out participation trophies in the form of world titles these days. Nobody cares about what it feels like, the emotion behind it, what it leads to. Is it best for business? Is it best for your audience? Is it best for the... No. Nobody even cares anymore. Now you just have people going, oh man, if Sami Zayn wins a title, I'm going to be so happy for him. We never used to say that, but man, Hulk Hogan wins a title, I'm so happy for him. When Stone Cold won the title, we didn't go, oh man, he deserves it. I'm so happy for him. You felt something. It was like Stone Cold just won the title. Stone Cold, Stone Cold, Stone Cold. You start thinking about all it means and what it leads to, and oh damn, what a moment. Nowadays, people win titles and we're like, wow, he deserves it. That was so cool. Jey Uso, man. You see Jey Uso? Calvin, come over here, man. Look at the TV. Jeyson Uso won. And we can't wait till the next show where we can all go, even if it's a heel. We heard it with Gunther. We heard it with Braun Breaker, who was barely there for a cup of coffee when he won his mid-card title. Nia Jax, who's a heel. The second they get into the ring, you deserve it. You deserve it. We're throwing a parade for all these wrestlers. The fuck? So is this leading to Sam Zayn? Sam Zayn winning a world title at a time where the business really needs a pulse and a boost. Sam Zayn. So that we can all go, he's a good guy, man. He's been there he's paid his dues. It's world title time. Then bring back Tito Santana. He deserves to hold the world title. Bring back Roddy Piper from the Yonder. He deserves a world title as well. Way more than Sam Zayn. These people didn't get world titles. So Sam Zayn is backstage, still getting taunted by Karrion Kross, and Sam Zayn lays in a good punch, too. Got Karrion Kross pretty good. Karrion drops to his ass. Sammy says, next week, I got a match with you, buddy. And Sammy walks off, and Scarlett's like, stop. And Karrion lowers his hand, and he's smiling. I thought that was well done, but I'm not shocked. It's Karrion Kross. I've said from day one, Karrion Kross is really good. Give him the ball. Even if you don't have him as a starter or in the game for too long, let him play some plays. He'll show you that he belongs in the game for longer. Give him the ball more often. Karrion Kross is that dude. He's not just the bells and whistles that Adam Cole proclaimed on that NXT several years ago. He's more than just bells and whistles. Karrion Kross, man. The one bright spot out of all of these backstage segments. With Samuel Zayn. Then we went into an IC title match, Becky versus Bayley, and you're not going to believe what they did in this match. By they, I mean the company. By they, I mean Helmsley. And commentary. Becky and Bayley for the IC title. Lyra Valkyria attacks Becky. So Becky wins via DQ. That's right. They acknowledged the DQ. If you've been watching WWE for the last several months, there's a new thing, right? When there's a DQ, the commentators quickly go, the match was thrown out. The match is not valid. They don't even mention DQ anymore. They just want you to think that, no, there are no losers. right? It's easier for them to book that way. We don't have to put too much, even less thought is what's being put into it now because we're telling you there's no losers. It's 50-50 booking at an even more nauseating level. 50-50 booking doesn't benefit any talent. I say that all the time. 50-50 booking is a detriment to talent. This type of 50-50 booking where no matter what happens in the match, if somebody interferes, you can just say it's thrown out and there is no winner, there is no loser. This is even worse. But last night they mentioned it quickly. When it suits them, they acknowledge the disqualification. And what they want to do is create some conflict with Bayley and Lyra. Face into face, by the way. Not surprising. So how do they create the conflict? Well, what if Lyra cost Bayley the title? And if she goes after Becky because she has a problem with Becky, that would cause a DQ. But Helmsley did away with the DQ. But what if we just say it anyway because the audience is stupid? That's what they're hoping on, right? They're hoping that the audience doesn't question anything. Whatever Helmsley is dishing up, you sit there with the wooden bowl and wooden spoon and say, "Please, sir, can I have some more?" And he'll keep dishing up the bullshit stew. So they acknowledge a DQ. So that backstage Lyra and Bayley can continue this little thing. She cost Bayley the title, man. But Friday night when there was a DQ, you said the match was thrown out. Last week on Raw and SmackDown, whatever matches those were, it was thrown out accordingly. When it benefits them, it's a DQ. This is what I mean when you listen to a BC review. Whether we cut an hour review or a 2-hour review, a 4-hour review, every minute, every second is beneficial to listen to because I'm giving you the blueprint of a really bad television show. Like, I just don't give you my opinion or my thought. Oh, I thought this show sucked, right? And then somebody else can just be like, I like the show though. I mean, we all have our opinions and our thoughts on shit. I'm giving you facts. I am going through every segment and I'm calling out just the logic gaps, the lack of common sense, the bare minimum basics that have been infringed upon. I mean, I'm just reviewing this in the most bare basic of way and it's that bad. DQs are only announced when they're trying to get to a certain, but then in other areas where it's the same thing, somebody jumped in and attacked this person, all of a sudden the match is thrown out. It's clear they're booking for 12-year-olds. We know that. That's the whole point of Yeeterman and his character, right? Come through the crowd, every kid you see, pick them up, pat them on the head, dance with them, yeet. You don't know if you're watching a professional wrestling show or you're at a Chuck E. Cheese. I understand what they're booking for now, and by doing that, you know, the 12-year-olds and those that are bringing out the kids who are dragging out their parents, they're not going to call out the logic gaps. They're just there to chant everything. This is awesome for every single match. They're there to sing along with Seth and Yeet with Jeyson Uso and with Cody and you name it. They just want to participate. So I understand that's what they're booking for, but they have to understand that over 70% of their audience is still over the age of 18. Just how it is. And we just can't simply just not, even if it's subconsciously, we can't just go, oh, okay, well, I'm willing to forget that. I'm willing to look past that. All right, that's not that bad. I'm willing to, we shouldn't have to lower our bar and our standards this many times during a Monday night 2.5-hour show. There's no show that you would do that. Think of your favorite shows, whether it's a half-an-hour sitcom or an hour-long drama. You would not lower your bar and your standards this much every Monday night before you would just stop watching. You'd be like, there's no point anymore. It's just bad. The show is beyond bad. And I love when we can really dissect it like this so you guys can literally see how bad. It's not just opinion or thought. Or even if you really feel like you like the show, hey man, cool, that's your prerogative. it doesn't make it good, clearly. And at the bare minimum, hopefully you can see why so many people feel like this is such a bad show. Because it is. And we're not even done. Then you go into a segment that had no use whatsoever. Raquel Rodriguez and Rok-C put Rhea Ripley through a table just so you can see a Slim Jim logo. As if the giant one in the middle of the canvas wasn't enough. They had to bust out the table that has the Slim Jim logo. The Slim Jim table. And that was, mind you, that was only there because there's this new agreement that they have. Every single show, somebody has to go through a Slim Jim table. And then the camera's going to sit on it for a while. It was 10 minutes on Friday night with Punk. And then they needed somebody. They're like, what about Ripley? Boom. Ripley goes through the table, and we just kind of sit on that for a couple of minutes. Because there was no reason for this. It was Raquel just kind of like says some words on the mic. Ripley comes out. Roxanne jumps in. Rhea's through a table. Let's go to a commercial promoting WrestleMania in Vegas. And then we go to the main event, Cody versus Jeyson Yeeterman. This was the King of the Ring semifinal. Face versus face. Nobody wins. I'm thinking as I'm watching this, I'm like, this is horrible. Well, obviously Cody's going to win. But it wouldn't matter. Cody obviously can't lose. And Jeyson Yeeterman just lost the world title. Now, absolutely that needed to happen. Yeeterman getting the title is obnoxious. That just is. Even if you love Yeeterman, that's fine. No. The Royal Rumble victory, the world title victory at WrestleMania in 8 seconds, tapping out Gunther to his own move. No, and no. But with that huge loss to Gunther just a couple weeks ago, why book him to lose now against another top babyface on a Monday Night Raw just a couple weeks later? Unless you're just trying to piss off Papa Yeeterman, Rikishi, who is pissed at Helmsley for taking the title off of him. Rikishi is not a Levesque McMahon guy, that's for sure. I'm with Keish on that, but I think Keish is giving I know it's his kid, but way too much credit, man. I mean, Keish is starting to believe that Yeeterman is actually Superman. Because that's how they book him in these matches. Like he took Cody Cutters, Super Cody Cutter. It took a mega Cody Cutter from the top rope and then the Crossroads to finally put Yeeterman away. When Gunther got his title back a couple weeks ago, guys, or even at Mania, Yeeterman was in the choke for like 10 minutes. He wasn't even thinking about tapping out. He was taking a nice nap. He was in La La Land, man. He's probably thinking, I got Scarlett and her assets right behind me, and I got Natty and her booyaka-booyakas in front of me, and he's like a booyaka sandwich. Scarlett Bordeaux and Natty. He's in La La Land. Meanwhile, Gunther has him in a choke. And then they reverse it, and in 8 seconds, Gunther's tapping out. I don't want to be in this to Jeyson Uso had a better choke. That's what I mean. How did he turn into Superman all of a sudden? This is just tag team Jey Uso. But when Helmsley said, I'm going to put the rocket on you. Royal Rumble victories, world titles, tapping out Gunther to his own move in 8 seconds. But dude, the rocket shouldn't mean all of a sudden turning him into the Undertaker, where he feels nothing. This guy is doing spears. He jacked the spear from Roman Reigns, and everybody gets knocked out from Jey Uso spears these days. He's doing crossroads in this match. He's doing the Gunther chokes. I mean, Jey Uso's arsenal as a singles wrestler is just jacking everybody's moves. And somehow doing them better. He's Super Us. Maybe Rikishi kind of, yeah, my son is Superman. No, he's not. So in this matchup, it was a lot of the same, man. Like they knew they booked Yeeterman to lose, and there's, you got to make people look strong in defeat. I get it. But if Yeeterman is kicking out of super cutters and whatnot, several in one match, how are we going to believe that if Randy Orton loses with one super cutter, for instance, or after an arsenal of moves, like how is that believable? Jeyson Yeeterman just will not lose. It's everything and the kitchen sink to have Yeeterman lose. It's not realistic is what I am getting at. Every time I see an Uso match, I am thinking, wow, they're treating this dude as if he's the Undertaker, Hulk Hogan hulking up. It's Jey Uso. I mean, I'm not even slamming the dude. It's clear, just visually, the gym is not something he really enjoys, clearly. Cardio is way off. I mean, after he's done yeeting, he's exhausted. They don't even give him promos anymore. It's not believable. He's not even a big dude. And we're just supposed to believe that he got plucked from the tag team because LaFeck McMahon said, I choose you. I'm putting the rocket on you, not LA Knight, not who the fans want. I'm putting it on you. What? So yeah, don't be shocked when most of the audience, that's not 12 and wanting to yeet for 25 minutes every show, don't be surprised when this is not believable to us. So obviously Cody winning was the only option. So why have this match? It's just weird. Weird. Uso just takes another freaking L, a big L, second one in the last few weeks, but we're supposed to believe that he's Super Us. It took everything to beat him. And then afterwards, they shake hands in mutual respect and they hug it out 3 separate times. I love you. Watch it. They're like, I love you, man. You're good. Now I love you, man. You're good. Man, that was you. Yeah, let's hug again, man. And then they do the Hunter's Helmsley point, right? They're pointing at you. Oh, what a match. And we go off the air. Paul LeBeck McMahon, Lee Fitting producing this garbage. Mutual respect. Face versus face to get us to the finals. Face versus face all over the place. Asuka was taking on, who was it? Alexa on Friday? Who was that? I think that was face versus face. I think the Randy Orton matchup to get to the finals was face versus face. Who would he take on? Oh, man. Randy Orton was facing somebody as a face as well. Well, anyway, Randy had a face versus face matchup. And that led to, was it Sami? Maybe it was Sami Zayn. But that led to a face versus face final. Cody versus... Why? This benefits nobody. There's no heels being made in all of this. No heels are getting that spotlight. I said in yesterday's live stream, Vince McMahon booked Triple H the character as a diabolical badass heel. He knew how to book Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and because of that, Helmsley became a massive superstar name. So either Helmsley forgot what it takes to book a true, definitive, diabolical heel, or he chooses not to. He forgot how to, or he chooses not to. Either one or both is unacceptable. We need heels. I asked a question in that live stream last night. Where's the heels in WWE? Like, who do we have? My amplified unit in that live chat, we couldn't come to any conclusions. I said, besides Gunther, who do you have? And they've botched Gunther 100 different ways imaginable in the past 3 months alone. But who do you have? Put Gunther to the side. You couldn't come up with, we couldn't. Couple of part-timers like John Cena and Logan Paul that show up once or twice a month, tops. Cena's out after this year. But Logan shows up not even once or twice a month. Once every couple of months. Seth Rollins was brought up. We sing with him for 5 minutes before we even get to any booze. He's always booked like a tweener. So Seth Rollins, absolutely not. A diabolical top status heel? No, I just, nobody's taking that serious. So who else? You have no heels. You have no top heel. Solo Sikoa? Absolutely not. He's going for a mid-card title right now with Jacob Fatu, which is what he should be doing. There's no top diabolical heels. You have a bunch of baby faces because we're putting rockets on them. Jey Uso. And we're teasing Samuel Zayn getting the title soon. But you have CM Punk. You have the Cody Rhodeses. You have the Randy Ortons. You still do have LA Knight, no matter how much Hunter tries to sweep underneath the rug. You have plenty of baby faces. You're not building any heels. Forget just properly you're not building them. You're not building them, period. So you have a tournament that is basically nothing but face versus faces, straight up to the finale. Where you can split your audience again, and nobody benefits. And maybe afterwards, we'll have some mutual respect with Randy and Cody. Like we just got with Jey Uso and Cody, because everyone just gets along, because everyone's just the baby face. Everyone's a face, and we're all in the face locker room, and we're all having athletic competitions together. Because that's what Helmsley wants. Just go out there and have athletic bouts. Have good wrestling matches. They'll chant, "This is awesome." Maybe Meltzer will give us 3 stars. Finally, 3, just 3 of them. Because there's no story. Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton is now your final. Do you realize the creativity you could have had for this? Do you realize how epic this... I mean, they were in Legacy. This is the classic teacher versus student. Cody was a nothing when Randy Orton put him into this group. The ultimate teacher versus student. All you have to do, because you need heels anyway, right? Randy Orton was one of the best heels imaginable. That legend killer heel. Oh, man, that was so good. So good. So you have him turn heel. What a concept. Cody stays as that top babyface, and you're off to the races, man. Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, here we go. Instead, not only do you not have anything fun like that, Randy is still babyface Randy, Cody's just babyface Cody, but you don't even get a story. They just are throwing this match this Saturday night as the finale to a tournament. A fucking 2-week tournament. They're giving you Cody and Randy. The only thing you can semi-salvage this by, and this is not the plan all along, even if this did happen, but it should happen, is Cody wins this thing, okay. Afterwards, Randy, you had Randy shaking Gunther's hand after their matchup. You guys remember that? Gunther's a heel. Randy is a face. Gunther talked shit about the family, not just Randy Orton. Said they're all a bunch of losers, this, that, and the other thing. And after the match, Randy shook hands with Gunther. So no, don't do that with Cody. Or shake his hand, turn him around, RKO. Randy turns heel, and then you can stretch this out. Maybe you can stem a really kick-ass storyline, salvage a storyline between the two off of this babyface versus babyface tournament match. That's the only way this can be salvageable. Is afterwards, Randy just decimates Cody Rhodes, and that leads to a good summer feud. With, yes, SummerSlam subsequently. But through the summer, that's a kick-ass feud. And maybe they stem it off of a match. The problem with that is, yes, you already see the match. They faced each other in the past anyway, but for this situation, this scenario, 2025, it does feel fresh. But you're wasting it babyface versus babyface. But if done correctly after the match, it could get your audience to want to see another 1 to possibly even 2 more matches with 2 to 3 months of feuding. Hopefully that makes sense. That's the only way this can be salvaged. Otherwise, you took one of the big matchups that a lot of us were looking forward to for a couple of years now, since Cody got back, and you're just pissing it off on a Saturday morning / afternoon. You're just... that's Cody, Randy, like nothing. I mean, it's like Helmsley sees no value in that match. Just put it out. There's a little something there. Just throw it over in Saudi. This is such... I can't, man. I can't. I say this a billion times. I'll say it a billion more until Helmsley is finally just in a different position, different role, staying in Stamford, Connecticut at the headquarters and just doing office job or whatever. Just being on-air talent. But in the role that he is in, head of talent relations, basically, chief of content and creative, he's really bad at the job. If anybody was this bad at their job as Helmsley is with his, you'd be fired. Somehow, because him and Nick Khan are tight, Helmsley's going to stay in this role until they sell in 2 years. And then I believe he'll finally be out. I think Helmsley has about 2... I think he wants to be out in 2 years. I think that's pretty evident. Which is right around the time the company, I believe, is going to sell anyway to Saudi. So we may have to deal with that another 2 years. Helmsley in charge of all this. And this type of booking continuing. The only thing that'll change every Monday night is you'll start seeing even more advertisements. Every Monday night, even more. Every nook and cranny, man. Advertisements on top of advertisements. The ring, the canvas will turn into an LED canvas somehow. So the actual mat will start turning into different advertisements every 20 seconds like a billboard. That's what I got for you guys, man. 6/23/25, Monday Night Raw, the Amplified Review. Thanks for hanging with BC for probably well over an hour at this point. I had a lot to say, a lot of coffee, and a lot of frustration with this product, a lot of frustration with these shows. It just keeps getting worse and worse with these shows, and it's unwatchable. It's unwatchable. Now, like, you can't even view it anymore without just being it's nauseating. So I don't know if there's any hope for it, but Saturday, they got a big event in Saudi. Obviously, there's a lot going on in and around Saudi. A lot of talent is uneasy going over. WWE talent was told, too bad, pack up, you're going anyway, the show must go on, too much money on the line. These are quotes, by the way, that the talent was told. So it is what it is, man. We got a big show on Saturday, and not a Paul White. BC will be covering it all week and the show itself. So stay locked on the channel. This is your one-stop shop for all thing pro wrestling. And I got you guys covered, man. Until next time, and there will be that next time. Top guys, we are out. BC in the unit. We're saying check you. Salud.